In this video, we're going to take a look at Social Security and how it affects your federal annuity. There are several different types of implications that can come up. The first, if you are a FERS retiree hired since 1984, you've been paid into Social Security your entire career, and that Social Security system will be a standalone without any impact on your federal annuity. If you were a FERS transfer and still have a CSRS component to your annuity, you could be subject to the windfall elimination provision, or WEP. For CSRS retirees, you can also be subject to the WEP provision. For CSRS offset, your annuity that's calculated will be offset by your Social Security benefit. And for those folks, I recommend you take a look at our CSRS offset video for further details on that. The first thing we're going to take a look at is the windfall elimination provision, or WEP. What that does is it reduces the Social Security benefit payable to a person who is also covered by a CSRS annuity. It's technically any government pension where they did not pay into Social Security. What it does is it modifies the formula that Social Security uses in calculating the benefit. If you're looking for your exact calculation, there is a WEP calculator at the Social Security website, which is quite accurate. It is also guaranteed not to reduce your Social Security benefit by more than half. So if you're worried about the WEP, you can figure out that your Social Security benefit that you're planning on will be no less than half of what the stated amount is. I want to take a minute here to explain the windfall provision and why it was put in place. The Social Security formula that calculates the benefit amount is a progressive one, meaning that there is a higher payout percentage for those people with lower incomes. For a CSRS employee, because those CSRS income years were not counted under the Social Security system, they appear to have a lower income over their lifespan than they actually did. And what the windfall elimination provision does is takes that into account and adjusts their payout rate to the amount it would have been if their total earnings were taken into account. So that's why that WEP was put in place. There are some exceptions to that. You are not subject to the WEP if you were hired after December 31st of 1983, meaning you were a FERS employee, or if you have at least 30 years of substantial earnings. Substantial earnings means that you earned enough to be considered an actual job. If you made $500 in a year, that's not going to count. There is a site at Social Security that will show you what the substantial earnings limit and threshold is for any given year. You are also not subject to WEP if you were eligible for your CSRS pension prior to 1986. The second Social Security adjustment that you may see is called the government pension offset. That's a little different, and what that does is it reduces the Social Security survivor benefit due to a spouse that is subject to a CSRS annuity. So what that means is, if I am a CSRS employee and my spouse subject to Social Security were to pass away, I would not likely be able to receive a survivor benefit from them. Technically, the formula is a 2/3 reduction based on your CSRS annuity, but given the level that most CSRS annuities are, you can count on that survivor benefit being reduced to zero. Again, I want to take just a brief minute to explain why this provision is put into place. And it is because under the Social Security system, any retired worker can either have their own benefit or have their survivor benefit from their spouse. They cannot have both. Because a CSRS person does not actually have a Social Security benefit, but they do have the CSRS annuity, the same rule is essentially being put into place where they cannot pull their own benefit and the survivor benefit at the same time. And that's why that offset is in place. There are some exceptions again. Those people who transferred to FERS before the 1st of July of 1988 are not subject to the GPO. Anyone who is covered by FERS for at least 5 years, or those CSRS offset employees. The next issue when related to Social Security is those people who continue to work after they've retired or after they filed for Social Security. If you are under your full retirement age, which would be anywhere from age 65 to 67, depending on when you were born, your benefit is reduced $1 for every $2 that you earn exceeding the limit in that year. For 2014, that limit is $15,480. So if you file for Social Security benefits at 62, under your full retirement age, and go back to work, any amount that you make over $15,480 will cost you 50 cents on the dollar from your Social Security benefit. When you reach full retirement age, it's $1 for every 3, and the limit is $41,400. So that year you turn 66, as an example, you can earn quite a bit more. And after that full retirement age, there is no earnings test limit, so you can make as much as you want from that age 66 or beyond. Also, in regard to Social Security, there are several different strategies that you can use when filing, and this would apply to FERS employees as well. While we often talk about filing right away at 62, you can delay filing all the way up until 70 and receive an increased benefit for the amount of time that you delay. You can also maximize survivor benefits by delaying yours or by delaying your spouse's benefit, so that the one that either one of you takes, who would be the surviving spouse, would be the highest. You can also coordinate spousal benefits between the two people, because a spouse can pull a spousal benefit, and not necessarily while filing on their own. There can be strategies employed that maximize the net benefit to a couple. Sometimes that might involve filing and suspending, which is the last one here, and that would provide you the ability to receive a spousal benefit while not filing on your own, and letting that continue to grow with those delayed earnings credits. These are just a few examples. There are a lot of different strategies that are very common when putting together a Social Security filing strategy. But it is important to remember that those are different for those people subject to the WEP or the GPO, as those different adjustments have to be factored into those strategies. That's it for Social Security. If you have any other questions on the topic, please feel free to contact us anytime about your own situation. Thanks.